What's up, guys? So I am back. I had to take a little break from doing videos for a while to get things in order, moving and buying a house and start my own business now. But I'm back. So first thing that you'll probably notice is the name of the channel has changed. But we're back to the projects, and I have already started on this one, in between customer vehicles. So what we're working on now is the TDI swap Toyota. Don't mind the mess. It's a disaster. I'll probably work on that this weekend, but already got the engine out of the Jetta. Wiring harness is all out. Everything that I need is out, I think. I still have the car in the backyard just in case, but this is going to be a super budget TDI swap Toyota. So I'm going to get it running as cheaply as possible, I guess. There might be some corners cut here and there, but over time I will readdress them. But really right now I just need the truck up and running. The head gasket blew in the original 22R, so I figured now is the time to do the swap instead of spend the money to get that engine rebuilt just to do the swap anyways. So I'm doing the swap. Biggest thing that might get the least amount of attention, I guess, is the harness. It is an absolute disaster, and I'm not 100% sure on exactly everything that needs to be cut out. I will cut out and depin whatever I know I don't need, but for the most part, probably the majority of this harness is just going to get set in there and plugged in and get it running. Like I said, I will come back and fine tune everything once it's running, but I want to get it running first. So we have 87 Toyota pickup. It's IFS. It's got a 2-inch ball joint lift up front. It's got 33s, and I re-geared the axles, 48s, and put Detroit True Track limited slips front and rear in it. It's supposed to be like a daily driver, woods hunting rig kind of vehicle, so I don't want to go too crazy on it. Thought about swapping out a solid axle, but if I do that, then the build's just gonna go crazy. So as you can see, I already have the engine in place. It was kind of a pain with the W56 trans that the truck has. Originally, I had to move the trans forward about 1.5 inches. Whereas if you go with like the R150, I believe, it's already that 1.5 inches, 2 inches longer than the W56, so you don't have to move it. But you can see how close it is to the firewall. I had to remove the coolant outlet on the back where the coolant glow plugs and coolant hoses go. I've got the aftermarket one on order, so that was like 50 bucks. I also had to remove the vacuum pump that goes on the back. So I've got about 1 inch gap between the engine where the vacuum pump mounts and the firewall. If you come around to this side, you can see maybe that the firewall kind of goes in right here, starting right here, and it drops back, gives me more space. So I can't drop the engine any lower. I did it, so I still have room above the IFS diff, so the oil pan doesn't touch, which a lot of people were saying you can do it, you can't do it, it's a pain, you have to do a 4.5 inch diff drop suspension lift, which I didn't want to do. So I got it in there where I want, but you can see engine sticks up above the fender quite a bit. So what I'm gonna have to do is do a body lift. I would rather do a body lift than a big suspension lift. Like I said, I'm gonna be trying to do this, I would say, as cheap as possible. Right now I'm on a budget for it. So what I'm gonna do is I went to Amazon and bought 36 hockey pucks. Hockey pucks are 1 inch thick, hard rubber. I've heard a lot of people doing it before, so I'm gonna do a hockey puck body lift. Now, I'm not too crazy happy about the body lift because, like, the winch where I had to cut out for the grill, where I had to cut the grill out for the winch, it's gonna look goofy now. Bumpers aren't gonna line up. I guess it's not that big of a deal, but so I know I keep saying budget, so we'll go over budget so far. Paid $1,000 for this truck with the tires. I mean, this engine swap doesn't entail the differential, so I'm not going to include that. But it was a running driving truck that I bought for $1,000. Drove it for about 2.5 years. Head gasket finally went out in the other engine. I had bought the Volkswagen Jetta for $1,800. Surprisingly, come to find out, this motor has some stuff done to it. I don't know what, but it definitely makes more power than a stock TDI. So the guy that I got it from got it on a trade, didn't know what was done to it, so I don't know what's done to it. The ECU doesn't say anywhere on it that it has been tuned or anything, but it definitely feels like it. Bigger injectors possibly. It's got the EGR delete. So I don't know what else is done to it. But it makes about 27 pounds of boost, first, second gear. So it's pretty good. So I guess right now, with the coolant flange, the hockey pucks for the body lift, this truck and the Jetta, I'm about $2,900 into it so far. And like I said, I bought the truck 2.5 years ago. I bought the car a year ago. So it's been overtime, but we're gonna try to keep this a fairly cheap build. I got this side motor mount done, I think, for the most part. Just a piece of square tube going back to two existing holes in the block, using the original Toyota engine mount. I still have to make something for this side. I think I'm gonna go off of the AC bracket, because AC had to get deleted, which I wasn't gonna use in this truck anyways, but compressor is not there. I have to build a new system for a different belt to bypass where the AC compressor will go. But got to get that mount done. But I'm gonna do the body lift right now, so I'm gonna set you up, do a little time lapse of that, try to catch as much of that as possible, and get back to you. All right, so you just saw real quick, I just placed 2 pucks on each body mount for the cab for now. I'll do the bed later, but it doesn't look as bad as I thought. I mean, it's still not ideal with these gaps, especially the bumper gap to the corner, but it's not terrible. The sliders, I guess that's not terrible either, but I mean, you can see I got 2 pucks, so 2 inches all the way around. Kind of looks like they're, I mean, I might have to massage right in here with the with a hammer to get the vacuum pump to fully fit, but I think we can get by with this. Might have to do 3, but I really don't want to do 3. But to get the hood on stock, I might, without having to cut a hole in it. Which I'd rather have a body lift than cut a hole in the hood. But we'll see. So I might toss one more in all the way around just to see fitment, and then I can run to town and get some longer bolts and get that bolted down, and then pull the motor out and make a new mount and try to get the vacuum pump on there to check fitment. So yeah, as I go along with something new, I'll keep you guys updated. All right, battery died. So I think I left off, I was doing the body lift with the hockey pucks. I just set them in place. After I turned the camera off, I tried to put a 3rd one in just to see if that would help. Still wouldn't give me enough room to put the hood on without cutting a hole, and it looked goofy. I mean, yes, right now just the cab is lifted. You can see the body lines don't match up. Yeah, I got rust in it. That's why this is a budget build. And it looked a little more goofy with the rock slider. It's not as tucked up as it was before, but so I went back down to 2. I'll do something with the hood. I don't know if I'll cut a hole in it and make a cowl or what. I really don't want to, but I think it would look more goofy with a 3-inch body lift and still having to cut a hole in the hood. So I went with the 2. It's all bolted in now. Just got it bolted in. I like where it's sitting. I also kind of went ahead and started to make a mock-up exhaust. Cut the flange off of the existing exhaust that was on the vehicle, was on the Jetta. I think it was a 2.5 inch. Cut the flange off of that. I adjusted this curve with the 2.5 inch pipe, but the starter wouldn't fit. Starter still doesn't go in because it's barely hitting on the stud on the turbo. So I'm gonna trim the stud just a little bit just to fit the starter. I had to go down to the 2-inch pipe for clearance on the starter. Like I said, this is a budget build, so I'm trying to do things cheap as possible. So with the 2-inch body lift, I figured putting it out the fender wouldn't be too bad because that gave me an extra 2-inch clearance between the tire and the fender. So I ran the exhaust out here, just like I said. This is leftover stuff, leftover exhaust pipe that I've had off of the Toyota and off of the Jetta, kind of mix matched. So I got it curved up. It's all just tacked, just for a mock-up. I'd probably actually get more pipe, new pipe, and redo it, but I was just doing this for clearance measurements. So I think that's how it's gonna go, straight out the fender, so I don't have to cut any holes in the fender. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I think next is to pull the engine back out and make that other motor mount permanent. Since I have so many hockey pucks, I think I'm going to use one of those. Might be a little rigid, but at least it's not metal on metal, solid mount. And I've also got the original Toyota mount on this side, so that should help a little bit. But we're getting there, so probably start pulling the motor now and getting that motor mount mocked up and get the motor back in, bolted up, and hopefully that'll be the last time the motor has to come back out. I'm still waiting on the coolant flange for the back of the motor. Once the motor's out too, I'm also going to massage that and put the vacuum pump on and see if that'll clear, or if I have to get a aftermarket electric vacuum pump and do a block off plate back there. So we'll see, but I'll keep you updated as I go. And before any of you say anything, because I know someone probably will, the bed is not lifted. Like I was saying, the body lines don't match up. The bed is not lifted right now because I'm still deciding if I want to keep this bed or build a flat bed for it. So I don't want to go through the hassle of lifting this just to build a flat bed a month later. So that's why I haven't lifted the bed yet. So don't rag on me too much about that. So yeah, just to clear things up on that. Hey guys, so it's been a couple days since I last filmed, so I'm still waiting on some parts to show up. I haven't really done much to the truck since. Right now I got the front end jacked up, draining the gas tank. I'm gonna get that cleaned out. Done a couple little things, but not a whole lot. I've been busy with customer vehicles, so but I do remember saying that like this is a budget build to get it running and driving, and I'll come back to it later. In the prices that I said that I have spent already, I forgot the adapter. I got the adapter from Diesel Conversion Specialists. I think it was like $600, $650. So I think that was the cheapest adapter that I have found. So just add that to whatever I said before. I think it was like just under $3 grand or something like that. But anyways, just giving you an update. It's not much going on right now with the truck. I mean, I could be dealing with the harness and stuff, but I want to get this tractor out of the way. I want to get this customer taken care of, and then I'm going to clean up the shop, organize everything, and then I'll go through the harness and stuff. But just doing little stuff, draining the tank like I said, and then I'll start probably working on fuel system and stuff like that. Motor still needs to come out to do the mount, the other mount, and so I can get the vacuum pump on and the coolant flange on the back of the head. That's what I'm waiting on right now still. So I think we're going to end that off right here. Stay tuned. It's probably going to be a couple weeks before another video comes out. I'll try to do as much as I can and film that. So hopefully it won't be too long, but the way things are going, it might be a little while. So just a heads up, but stay tuned. Let me know any comments, questions, tips, whatever. Like I said, this is my first diesel swap. So yeah, hope you enjoyed so far.